Ever look at a model railroad crossing and think,
Mm.
I could totally build that?
Yeah.
And then like reality hits those angles, the tiny details.
Right.
It's enough to make you want to like toss your pliers across the room.
It's true. Those crossings, they can be deceptively tricky.
Yeah.
They're like a perfect example of what makes model railroading so, I don't know, challenging.
Mm-hmm.
It's not just shrinking things down. It's like keeping them realistic and functional at such a small scale.
And that's where Fast Track's Diamond Line, like, swoops in to save the day. Precast components, different angles, pre-cut ties.
Oh, yeah.
They heard our frustrated cries for help.
It's like magic.
So we're diving into their system today, using 3 of their YouTube videos,
Okay.
2 detailed build tutorials,
Mm-hmm.
and a special peek behind the scenes with the founder, Tim Morris.
A multifaceted approach
Mm.
is always a good sign. Gives you, more than one way to look at it. It's one thing to see the finished product, but it's another to understand, the journey, the why behind the design.
Absolutely. And these tutorials
Mm.
waste no time like getting down to business.
Yeah.
We're talking a 30-degree crossing
Okay.
step by step.
I like it.
But get this, the
Yeah.
very first thing they emphasize is,
Yeah.
wait for it, cleanliness.
Now hold on. Before you think, okay, neat freaks, we get it.
Right.
This is where Fast Track's approach gets interesting.
I don't know about you, but when I hear wash your hands before model railroading, I'm like, oh, okay. Things just got real.
Precisely. It might seem, I don't know, a little excessive.
Yeah.
But they're laying the groundwork for success. See, soldering, which is how those rails get connected,
Right.
it's all about pristine surfaces.
Mm.
Any little speck of dust, oil from your fingers, it can mess with the entire bond.
It's amazing how something so small can like make or break the whole thing.
It's a testament to the precision
Yeah.
involved. Model railroading, it's detail-oriented.
And Fast Tracks knows it.
So we've scrubbed in like we're about to perform surgery. Now what?
Now we tackle those raw castings.
Okay.
The tutorials have you breaking out wire brushes, rotary tools, even sandpaper.
Wow.
Turns out there's this rough patina that needs to be removed.
Okay, so it's not just about making them look pretty, though I'm always down for a polished look.
Aesthetics are a bonus,
Well,
but this is about long-term quality.
okay.
That patina, if left alone, can cause tarnishing, which not only looks bad, but can also impact the electrical conductivity of your track down the line.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
So they're setting us up for success from like day one.
exactly.
I love how the tutorials explain not just the what, but the why.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Makes you a more informed model railroader, which is never a bad thing.
Mhm.
Never a bad thing.
Now comes the part where, like, my patience would be tested.
What?
The rail work.
Okay.
We've got these clean castings,
Right.
and now we need to prep and solder those rail segments into those teeny tiny pockets.
It's a small world.
This is where those beveled edges they talk about become crucial.
Okay.
Beveling the rail ends ensures a tight, secure joint when soldered.
Okay.
Think of it like puzzle pieces fitting perfectly together.
And I'm guessing those burrs they mentioned removing are like those pesky puzzle pieces that just won't quite fit.
Exactly. Burrs create gaps which weaken the joint and can disrupt the electrical flow through your track.
Makes you realize how much thought goes into every aspect, even something as small as a rail joint.
It's a microcosm of model railroading itself. Everything is connected and precision is key.
Okay, rails are soldered. We're feeling good. What's next?
Time to bring in the laser cut ties.
Okay.
And this is where Fast Track system really starts to shine.
Yeah.
These ties aren't just for show,
For
they're
what?
precision engineered to ensure the castings are perfectly aligned and spaced.
They showed how the castings just like click into place on
Yeah.
the ties, and honestly, it was strangely satisfying.
It's the little things. Takes the guesswork out of alignment, which is huge for electrical isolation and making sure those trains run smoothly.
Speaking of smooth operation,
Yes.
when it comes to gluing those castings to the ties, Fast Tracks has strong opinions. Pliabond is the name.
Liabon, okay.
And they even caution against using other adhesives like Walther's Goo or C8 glue,
Interesting.
and for good reason. Model railroading adhesives
Yes.
need to strike that balance of strength, flexibility, and longevity.
Right.
Pliabond, with its contact cement properties, fits the bill perfectly.
Okay.
It creates a bond that's built to last through vibrations, temperature swings, you name it.
Wow.
They literally said it creates a bond that will last forever.
Bold statement.
It is, right?
Yeah.
So we've got a crossing all glued up, rails are set. Are we done yet?
Not quite. We need to give it that professional, realistic finished. The tutorials have you going back in with sanding blocks, finer and finer grits, and then a final polish using a track cleaner.
It's all about those finishing touches,
Always.
but they're not just about aesthetics.
Right. You got it. That smooth, polished surface
Mm-hmm.
ensures your trains will just glide effortlessly across the crossing, just like their real-life counterparts.
It's like giving your model that extra touch of realism.
Exactly.
Speaking of which,
Yeah.
those build tutorials were fascinating.
Right.
But I have to say, Tim Morris's video about the Diamond Line's development
Oh, yeah.
had me hooked.
Okay.
I mean,
yeah.
I could only imagine the hurdles in bringing a system like this to life.
Oh, I bet.
It's not every day you see this level of innovation in model railroading.
For sure.
Seriously. He talks about how the initial spark for precast crossings
Mhm.
goes all the way back to 2012.
Wow. Okay.
He was at a train show.
Uh-huh.
He was at a train show and saw these incredible brass castings.
Okay.
And
Mm.
turns out they were
Mhm.
made with this 3D printing technique
Wow.
using wax,
Using a wax, okay.
something Tim had never even heard of.
I mean, we take it for granted now, but yeah, 3D printing back then was in its infancy.
Totally.
It's amazing how far it's come, even in the world of model railroading.
It's true. Like, Tim was blown away by the quality,
Yeah.
but the technology just wasn't there yet for fast tracks.
Right.
Those wax printers were crazy expensive,
okay.
and the masters were too delicate to, like, ship reliably.
Oh, yeah.
So the idea went on the back burner.
Talk about vision.
Right.
It's one thing to have a good idea,
Right.
but to recognize its potential, even when the means aren't quite there, that's impressive.
It really is. So fast forward, like, 8 years,
Okay.
Fast Tracks is thriving,
Mhm.
and Tim decides it's time to revisit that casting dream.
Ah.
But he didn't cut any corners.
Oh, wow.
He went all in, investing in a full-blown casting operation
Right.
in-house.
Now that's commitment and a smart business move, if you ask me.
Right.
It gave Fast Tracks complete control over the quality and the timeline.
Oh, wow.
No more relying on outside vendors.
He talked about the headaches he'd seen firsthand
Oh, I bet.
with outside vendors, the delays, the inconsistencies.
Yeah.
This was about taking the reins
Right.
and owning the process from start to finish.
I like that kind of we'll figure it out attitude.
Yeah.
It's inspiring. It reminds us that even in a hobby with established techniques, there's always room for, innovation.
Totally. It wasn't always smooth sailing, though.
Oh.
Tim described it as a constant cycle of, like, trial and error.
Right.
The type of casting they were doing was so specialized, there were no instruction manuals,
Wow.
no mentors. They were, like, charting their own course.
Wow. There's something to be said for that kind of hands-on experimentation.
Right.
Yeah. It might mean a few bumps in the road, but it often leads to a deeper understanding of the craft and a better product in the end.
Totally.
Yeah.
And that's clear in how the Diamond Line evolved, even, like, during development.
Okay.
Initially,
Yeah.
those guardrails were part of the main casting.
Oh, wow.
Can you imagine the filing and soldering?
Talk about a recipe for frustration. I can't even imagine trying to wangle those tiny pieces.
Right. But here's where Fast Tracks really impressed me.
Yeah, what'd they do?
Tim realized this would be a major pain point for users, so they redesigned the entire system.
Wow. Okay.
It separated the guardrails, which meant delaying the launch,
Oh, wow.
all to make things easier for, us.
That speaks volumes about their commitment to the user experience.
It really does.
They weren't just trying to push out a product. They wanted to make sure it was as, user-friendly as possible, even if it meant more work on their end.
It's that dedication to quality
Yeah.
that really stood out to me
Mm-hmm.
throughout this whole, like, deep dive. They're pushing the boundaries of model railroading technology, but it's all in the name of making the hobby more, approachable
Right.
and enjoyable.
It's a delicate balance,
Yeah.
making something easier without sacrificing quality or craftsmanship.
All right.
Fast Tracks seems to have found that sweet spot with the Diamond Line.
They have.
Yeah.
It makes you wonder, what other model railroading headaches could they tackle next?
Oh, the possibilities.
Right.
Precast trestle bridges, intricate tunnel portals. It's an exciting time to be a model railroader, that's for sure.
The Diamond Line feels like a glimpse into the future of the hobby.
I'm inclined to agree, yeah. But even with these incredible advancements,
Right.
there's still something special about, the traditional skills and artistry that are at the heart of model railroading.
That's a great point. And it's something Tim Morris touched on in his video. He talked about how even though they're creating these incredibly precise castings,
Yeah.
they still include those sanding blocks in the kit.
A wise decision, in my opinion. It acknowledges that model railroading, at its core, is a hands-on hobby. Even with precast components, there's still that element of personalization, that desire to add your own touch, you know?
Yeah. It's the best of both worlds. Precision engineering combined with like individual craftsmanship. You get that satisfaction of building something with your own two hands, but without the headache of those like super precise cuts and alignments.
Exactly. And that, to me, is the hallmark of a well-designed model railroading product, one that complements and enhances the hobbyist's experience
Right.
rather than trying to replace it entirely.
It's like they're saying, hey, we've laid the foundation, but feel free to make it your own. They've taken the frustration out of the equation without taking away the joy of creation.
Precisely. It speaks to a deep understanding of what model railroaders truly value, that blend of precision and personal expression.
It does make you think, though.
Yeah.
Does a system like this make the hobby, like, too easy? Or does it open the door to people who might have felt intimidated by the complexity in the past?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? There's no denying the satisfaction that comes from, mastering traditional techniques, hand-laying track,
Right.
painstakingly weathering each piece. But on the flip side,
Yeah.
imagine all the potential model railroaders out there who might be hesitant to even start because it seems, I don't know, too daunting.
Too hard. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
For those folks, this feels like a game changer. It's like they're saying,
Yeah.
come on in, the water's fine.
Exactly.
Get to experience the joy of building and running your own little world without getting bogged down as aerotechnical stuff.
And who knows, maybe it sparks a passion that
Right.
leads them to explore those more advanced techniques down the road.
Totally.
It's all about lowering that barrier to entry
Right.
without diminishing the depth of the hobby itself.
Like a gateway to a whole new world
Yeah.
of miniature marvels.
Exactly. And that's what makes this so exciting, right?
Yeah.
It's not just about crossings. It's about the bigger picture
Right.
of what's possible when innovation meets tradition.
So as we wrap up our deep dive into Fast Track's Diamond Line,
Yeah.
what's like the key takeaway for you?
For me, it's a powerful reminder that even in a hobby, often associated with, nostalgia and time-honored techniques,
Right.
there's always room for fresh perspectives and innovative solutions.
Yeah.
It's about making things, better, more accessible
Right.
without compromising the things that make the hobby so rewarding.
Well said. It leaves us with a question to ponder.
Ooh, I like it. Okay.
What other areas of our lives, our hobbies, even our work, could benefit from a similar approach? Where else can we find that sweet spot between user-friendliness and, like, exceptional results?
Yeah.
Something to think about as we navigate our increasingly complex world. Until next time, happy railroading.